Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hardcore Italians podcast. Today we're joined by someone who's not only a proud Italian American, but also a talented actress, host, and devoted mom. You've seen her alongside her husband Mario Lopez on with Mario Lopez, and she's known for bringing family, culture, and creativity into everything she does, whether it's on Broadway, on screen, or through her fun family-filled content on Instagram. Please welcome the amazing Courtney Lopez.
Hello. Good
Going.
And you got
morning.
your friend with you, eh?
I have both. Yeah, this one you just can't really see. This is Oscar de la Hoya right here.
They're so
And
I
then
love
cute.
it.
this is Salvador Sanchez Lopez. They're with
Oh,
me all the time. Like I'm never alone. My shadows.
I gotta get him
that's
the. We got pet accessories too. We got like a cannoli dog toy
yeah, the cannoli with
and a
Mike. Yeah.
bandana. I'll send you them.
Do you have any pasta ones?
No, we just kind of started with the cannoli one, and then
Yeah.
people love it. Like we were kind of. My one friend was like, "You guys should open up a dog business." He's like, "You're selling a bunch of these cannoli dog toys every day." So I don't know. We want to expand on it by Christmas, you know.
Because my brother just adopted a fourth dog and they named her Rigatoni and they call her Tony. So I was
Oh,
looking
I
when
love
I
it.
got him some toys, I was looking for pasta, specifically Rigatoni, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I'll let you know. We're trying to have more by Christmas, so I have a feeling by
Um,
Christmas we'll have it. I'll keep
You
you
know,
posted.
dogs love Italian food, though, I've noticed. All my friends who have dogs, they all feed them their pasta. They go nuts. They love it.
oh my,
I can't blame them, right?
the meatballs, are you kidding? They sit there like salivating, waiting for a meatball to drop.
That's
My
hilarious. Oh
dog
my
used to know like every Sunday that it was Sunday and he was getting pasta. It was crazy. He's trained. Yeah.
He,
I feel
how
bad.
do
This one has a sensitive stomach, but I can't deny him of, a couple bites here and there because he needs, even though he's French, he needs to know, that he's also Italian.
Hey, Courtney, I think I'm probably lactose, but I mean, that doesn't stop me from eating Parmigiano, mozzarella. I don't care.
How could you? How could you? That's torture.
I love it so much. I'll take the pain.
Yeah, you have
I'll do
to
it.
get it. Get it.
Uh, so Courtney, I wanna go back from the beginning. At age 3, you were already modeling, and by 6, you were doing musicals. I read,
Yeah.
and I mean, when you're a kid, you're not really thinking of it as a career. You're just trying to have fun, right? But when did that shift ever like happen for you? Like, was there a moment when you thought, "Yeah, I really want to do this for real, like as a career"?
There really was never a shift. It's kind of just something that I knew my whole life. And I feel like I was really, really lucky to know that from such an early age. My mom had always loved the theater and she loved music and she loved instruments. But, unfortunately, back then, there wasn't a lot of support. My grandparents didn't really know, it wasn't something that they knew about. So my sister, who's 10 years older than me, Gina, she um, went to a performing arts high school. And so since she was 10 years older than me, I kind of just watched her do that and was just like, I love it. And I never had a plan B. I went to a performing arts middle school, performing arts high school. I trained after school. It's just something that I did and knew that that's what I wanted to do. I was around people in the arts my whole life. So I was very fortunate because everyone around me had a goal. I wasn't just around a bunch of kids who wanted to have, party and do all this stuff. They had a specific goal and they had a vision. And so I think that really helped me focus to where I wanted to get, which was Broadway.
Yeah, and speaking of Broadway too, you've done amazing shows. Even one, obviously, The Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
For
I
my
was a fish.
That's amazing. Like one of my favorite movies growing up, and the fact that you got to do that for like for a Broadway play, that's amazing. That's probably one of your most fondest experiences too, right? Getting to do that.
Yeah, back then in my 20s, I was so fortunate to be working. I had come off of doing the iconic A Chorus Line, which, is just one of the most amazing shows ever written. And the choreography is just insane. And then I did Cry Baby, which was the John Waters movie with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
They had put that to the stage. So I had worked with these incredible people. And then I did Little Mermaid. And for me back then, I don't want to sound ungrateful. It was I was a fish. I was like swimming on stage, and having come from doing these incredible shows, the choreography iconic, and now that I have kids, how I wish I could go back and do that, because I see it differently now.
Hmm.
I see it, back then it was an insurance weeks for me. I was working, I was getting a paycheck. I was very happy. I was fortunate. There were so many unemployed people. Um, but I just saw it differently back then. It was a rock concert for kids, and they would have the best time. And I was in my early 20s. I didn't have kids. Now I appreciate it a lot more.
Well, because when you have kids, you do things for them. You
Yeah,
live for your children, right? And you want to do things that make them happy. You look at it through a different lens, right?
exactly.
Yeah, and also too, I want to bring up obviously, one of the most iconic 90s shows of all time, Saved by the Bell. I want to bring that up because,
Mhm.
like I mentioned, it was such a staple of 90s pop culture. And I know you met Mario after the show had ended, but first of all, were you a fan back in the day watching the show?
I did watch it.
Yeah.
I never, if you would have told me back then, oh, that's going to be your husband, I would have said, what the hell are you talking? What are you talking about? But yeah, I did. I thought it was a really cute show, and it's still iconic today. People are still watching it.
Yeah, and you're also in the reboot as well. You played Michelle, which was a love interest of AC Slater's, right? So that
I
was like a
did.
full circle,
It
the
was a
first
quick,
full circle moment for you.
yeah, it was a quick little date, but unfortunately, it didn't get renewed. So we don't know where Michelle and AC Slater would have ended up.
But still, that's just it's cool how like you watched it as a kid and it's like now you get to
Yeah,
be a part of that. Even if it's a small part, just to be a part of that must have been just a
no,
real treat.
totally.
Yeah. Also, and a funny thing I want to mention, I don't know if this is true. I read it online. That you initially had a crush on Zach Morris initially. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. I just growing up, I Mario wasn't really my type. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, I don't know if it was I just wanted to go opposite of what I saw at home. I like the white boys. That's what but now it's changed, obviously.
You must tease him all the time, right?
I do. It's funny. I mean, it's an ongoing joke. He just laughs.
Is
Mhm.
it true you turned him down at first?
I did. I did because I was in a chorus line prior to him joining the show, and then I left to do another show. So I came back, and he had been there, and we were introduced. And keep in mind, I always tell him, "Remember, you met me when I was 25. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, so it's of course, get older." Um, and I don't know. I'm not the type of person to be easily impressed. And because I had been on Broadway, I'd been around a lot of celebrities and a lot of people that were in the business. And, I wasn't starstruck or anything. I mean, I thought he was adorable. I thought he was cute. I thought he was charming, but I didn't know him, and it was just kind of like, oh, I just didn't want to be another notch on his belt.
Mhm.
So, I had to work for it a little bit.
I love that. That's awesome. And you guys work together with Mario Lopez. Can you tell me a little bit about the dynamic? Like, how is it working together? Like, is it easy to separate work life from home life and things like that?
It's great. It really is the best of both worlds. So he started this radio show, I guess as old as my daughter is, which she's going to be 15. So 15 years ago. And I used to come in once a week just to do a little segment. It was a relationship advice. And, because obviously girls and guys have different views of how things should go. You guys usually think we're crazy. We think we're right. So then when my son was born, he's going to be 12, Dominic, they were looking for a female co-host. And so they had interviewed a couple people. And then I'm not really sure who got someone on the other side said, you know what, we really like these segments that Courtney does with him. Let's bring her in. And honestly, from then on, it just took off because it I can bring something to the show that someone who could be incredibly talented just can't do because I'm married to him, you know. So it brings a
Yeah.
lot of insight to home, and I get to tell people things that happen at home that, you know, somebody else wouldn't know. And it's great. I mean, it's not a lot of work. It's painless and easy and fun. I go to work in my workout clothes. I don't have to, you know, get
Yeah.
all dolled up, and it's because you just don't have to. It's great. Um, and it's something that we just laugh about. We are able to tell stories from home, and we're able to let people into our home without literally coming into our home. But we just laugh and have a good time, truly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how much you guys just like involve family and have fun. That's great. Like, tell me a little bit more about the Instagram because you guys as a family are always posting together on Instagram and there's some like very viral videos. It's great. Is that something the kids always wanted to do or your family always wanted to do or just how did those start happening?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, social media, when that took off, it became part of the business, right? If you're in the public eye, it's just something you kind of had to do to follow the trend and keep everyone updated with you.
Yeah.
But then COVID, we just started doing these little family dances. Um, and it just kind of took off from then. And the kids love it. Um, I what I love about it is these are great memories that we're going to
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
later. You know, there's times where we're tired and we don't feel like doing it, and the kids are miserable, and you know, my teenage daughter's having a moment. But I know down the road we're all going to be so happy that we have all of these memories together, and it's fun for us to do together. You
Hmm.
know, it really brings us together as a family, and obviously, dance and music is important to me. It's been a part of my whole life, and even though my kids, you know, my daughter's a elite cheer competitor, um, but they don't do the musical theater part of it. Although my son, I know he would love to do it. We just have no time. He's just so busy doing all the stuff that he's doing. Um, but it's important for music to be a part of, you know, our lives.
Hmm. I love it. And how do you deal with kind of like, because I feel like with social media, there's always hate and a lot of people are judgy and things like that. And sometimes, like, I personally find myself a little hesitant to involve my family and friends a little bit more on the page because I know sometimes, like, people come at them. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you post, there's just negativity. Like, how do you guys deal with that? Or did you have to teach your kids about this? Is that something like anybody worries about, or you're just kind of used to it from all these years of being in the public eye? I'm just a little curious.
I think at the end of the day, you realize that you're in a no-win situation. If you don't speak about something, they come after you. If you speak about something, they come after you. I obviously have my beliefs and things that I believe in, but I keep them to myself. And that doesn't mean I'm not doing things, or my husband, we're not doing things to help situations. We just don't necessarily promote it,
Yeah.
you know, and that's okay to us. We have a lot of people that will come at us regarding different things happening with our cultures, and you know, why aren't you speaking out? Why aren't you doing this? And we're doing our thing on our end. It's just a no-win situation on
Yeah.
social media. You're just not going to get you're not going to get the response that you want because you're not going to win.
Yeah.
So I just we ignore that. We ignore that. We're here as hosts and entertainers, and we're not politicians. We're not. That's not what we are.
Mhm.
So you know, we just try and protect us and protect our family and teach our kids. Um, you know, my kids are getting older now, so they see social media, they see that kind of stuff. So I just use it as a learning experience. They also know it's part of the job. They've
Yeah.
been in it since they were born. So, you know, it's just helping them grow a thick skin.
Yeah. Because I mean, even politics aside, like no matter what we post on the page, like sometimes we'll post just like a very innocent video and there's just like people are just nasty in the comments and things like that. And
Yeah.
we've had to like take down posts and you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
inappropriate people. I don't know. It's just kind of tough with social media involving like family and kid, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I was just a little curious because it's like, yeah, you definitely need to have thick skin, which I feel like Italians kind of do just from how we were raised.
Right, right. And
But
that's
For
kind of
sure.
like the Mexican culture as well. I mean,
mhm.
they're very thick skinned too. And honestly, my husband I'm way more sensitive. And he is just, you can't let that bother you, just at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you can't let those people, just ignore them. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. Like, we know what we have here, and that's all that matters. So
Mm.
he's actually taught me a lot, but he's also been in the business over 40 years. I've been in the business in theater, which is different.
Yeah.
He's been in the public eye. Mine wasn't in the public eye all those years, but there still is rejection. There still is negativity, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like to like, both, you being in an Italian culture, Mario being Mexican culture, both have the same values of, community and family. And obviously
Totally.
you guys have both been in the business practically your whole lives, and now your kids are doing it too. I know you post a lot about your kids as well on Instagram. Like your son, as you mentioned, he's killing it too. He's in a lot of projects as of late, right? So,
Yes.
and it's like when you guys again with community and family being those values that you're passing on to your kids, do you think that makes it easier to raise your kids in the spotlight? Because obviously, like, it's like what you said, like you have to have tough skin, and it is a tough industry, and there's a lot of rejection. And since you guys had that experience, it's beneficial for the kids too, and you get to actually teach them to go into the spotlight in a way that's gonna help them and not hurt them.
Yeah, our main priority with our kids is to raise them as humble and normal as possible.
Hmm.
And I honestly feel like, there's no blueprint, there's no book to how to parent. I wake up every day, I just do the best that I can. I think we've been doing a really good job as far as that, because there's so many things that we can't control. We can only control the things that happen in our house and how we handle situations. Um, so, being in the public eye, it's hard for them. So there's certain situations we have to explain to them differently than some of their friends at school. But I also tell them too, like, so and so's dad might be a doctor at the hospital. Your dad just happens to be on TV, but his dad, everyone knows him at the hospital. It's just kind of like a you know, different scenario, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And tell me a little bit more about like just how you raise them as far as the culture. Like, what are some things you grew up with that you find yourself now as a mom teaching your kids? And I'm curious too, like, what are some of the different cultures between Mexican and Italian? Like, was it pretty similar for the most part? Are you guys like preaching the same stuff, or is there something where it's like, we do this? I don't know, it's a little different. What do just curious.
Well, I realized that a lot of the food are the same ingredients, minus a couple things here and there, you know. Um, Dinners, being with family, growing up, all of Mario's stories were exactly similar to mine, with holidays and being with your cousins and Sunday dinner, and being at your grandma's house all the time. So it's very, very similar. And even the language sometimes is
Yeah.
really, really similar. Um, I don't know Italian because by the time my family came here, it wasn't cool to speak
Yeah.
Italian, and they wanted to be American. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
now, my gosh, I wish my mom was this, she knew it.
Yeah, same.
Um, but we just had Sunday dinner. We have Sunday dinner. We had one of my mom's cousins in town, from Pittsburgh, and we made sauce and meatballs and
Mhm.
had a big family dinner. And we love to do stuff like that. Our family is so busy. The kids have so many activities. So it's a lot different than when we grew up.
Yeah.
Even though I was busy, it's just on a different level.
Yeah.
So um, we try and at least have Sunday dinner every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of the same
One
values
thing
too, for sure.
Yeah, one thing I want to add on to that too, Courtney, because obviously you're a mom, right? And it's, when you were growing up, even for me and Mike, like, an Italian mom is always telling you to finish your meals, don't
Yeah.
stay out late, just that classic tough love. And like as kids, we don't appreciate that. I'm not sure if you did, but like I always used to get upset about that. But now that you're a mom, are you finding yourself doing the same thing your mom used to do to you? Like, are you trying, and is it kind of like you're kicking yourself like shit, like I used to get my mom crap for that. Now I'm doing the same thing to my kids.
It's funny you say that, because there's things that my mom does, and I say to my kids, I promise I will never do that. I will not do that. Um, I wouldn't change how I grew up for anything. I mean, my parents both worked. They pounded the pavement. They made ends meet. I didn't want for anything. I don't know how they afforded to give me and my brother and sister what we had, because they really, my mom was a hairdresser working in our house. My dad worked for the steel mill, and then he almost 30 years, and then he got laid off, and then he worked for United Airlines. So then he was on the road a lot. So it was just my mom really at home because he traveled so much. But I never felt like I didn't have whatever I needed. And so I want my kids to grow up that way, but I don't also want them to be spoiled, because it's a little different scenario this time around.
Yeah, that's true. I think about that all the time. Like growing up, I didn't realize my grandparents had like no money at all. They were just
Yeah.
always,
Yeah.
they're like happier than anybody I knew. They like, you never felt like they were poor. And then like you grow up and you realize like, oh my God, they couldn't afford like anything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. I get exactly what you're saying. Where's your background in Italy, or like what region, or who came?
Calabria and Abruzzi. So we're from the
Oh,
bottom of the,
So you're testadura, right? Calabrese.
yeah.
Yeah.
Calabria.
Ah,
Yeah, we're both Calabrese too.
Look, I got a Okay, Courtney, look, I got it tattooed on me too. I got
oh my gosh,
the
look at
the,
that.
the crest. I
Yeah,
don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
we're hardcore Calabrese.
Actually, Rigatoni, the new dog, is Rigatoni, Calabrese, Mazza, and Rezebek, which is my brother's fiance.
What a name.
I love it. Italians in our names. I love it. Um,
And
but yeah, it seems like we relate on a lot of the same values. That's what I feel like is the most important thing at the end of the day, the values. And you're saying a lot of them, just like being humble, like don't be spoiled, like family, like making sure that you make time for Sunday dinners and stuff. I love it. But with that being said, what would you say is like an Italian stereotype that's 100% true that you do?
that I do.
Yeah, that you do, or that drives you crazy. Either one.
Oh my gosh. Do I even know that I do stuff? I mean, I might just do it and not even know. I mean, I do this a lot, and
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, so Courtney, if
Yeah,
I
the
Gordon.
Malik.
yeah. And I taught my kids that. I go, whenever you feel like someone's giving you the evil eye, you just do this with your hand, and you don't have, they don't know, nobody knows. You're not like throwing up a gang sign or anything. Just do it
Mm.
very gently. And, and I do that all the time. I don't even realize I do it, I guess.
We do it if like we're watching a football game and the guy's gonna kick a field goal and we want him to miss or something. My dad does it all the time now. I
I've never
started
done
doing
that. I've
yeah.
never done that.
It works here and there. It works. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. I
Get
do it
you,
a lot when I feel like I'm around somebody who's not a good person, and,
Yeah. Yeah,
Courtney,
true.
is there anyone in your family? Because speaking of the evil eye, is there anyone in your family that like usually the nonnas could do it really good? My fiance's nonna, if you have malocchio, if you have a bad headache and you have it, she's able to like get rid of it, and like you start
with the
crying and stuff.
vinegar and the,
I've never
Oil.
done it with. I'm not sure the process, but like someone who's like someone that she knew did it with her nonna, and like
yeah.
they started crying and like they felt better.
The
So
oil, right?
the what?
Isn't it with oil, or sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's with oil and water and something about it mixing. So my grandma, my mom's mom, she
Yeah.
passed away in 2015. Um, Teresa, she would do it all the time. And she would call me, or whether I was in New York, and I would say, I don't know, I just don't feel good, or,
Hmm.
I don't feel like myself. She goes, hang up. I'm going to do, you have a Maloik. I'm going to do the Maloikia, and I'll call you back. So she would do it with the water and the oil, I think that's what it was. And I would watch her, and she would do like the sign of the cross 9 times and do like this whole thing and say a prayer. And then she would look at the bowl and go, oh my gosh, you have it bad. That's why you feel that way. And then miraculously, I would feel better after she did it.
Isn't
Like
that
Oh
it went
my
crazy?
God.
away. So my mom, I know, knows how to do it. We don't do it as much. My grandma lived by it. I mean, she did it all. Um,
Yeah, that's
but
hardcore for sure. With the
that's
superstitions. Oh my God.
yes.
So and getting rid of it. Not everyone knows that one for sure, so I'm impressed. You guys definitely are. I could tell you guys are hardcore for sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Um, so Courtney, before we end off, we have a fun little game to play, and
Okay.
it's food related, and
Oh
I know
God.
you love cooking as well. I've seen you post about it. So, it's Italian versus Mexican food.
Oh
So
goodness.
so it's gonna be pretty tough because Mexican food is, I would say, my second favorite food.
Okay.
Here we go. First one, tacos or piadini?
Piadini.
Yeah, it's like a fold. It's almost like a fold, like flatbread. They fold in. They put like cold
Yeah.
cuts and stuff in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Guacamole or
mean,
pesto? Or sorry, you could answer.
wait, say that again.
Guacamole or pesto is the next one.
The greens.
Exactly.
I don't eat pesto that much, but when I do, it's one of those that I go, why don't I get this more often?
Mm, yeah.
But my son Dominic loves pesto pasta. He always gets the pesto. But I feel like in this house we have guacamole more.
Yeah. I bet. Nothing beats
Okay.
like pesto though when it's fresh from the garden. Oh my God,
So,
I love it.
and I make a really good guacamole that his
Oh yeah.
Mario sister taught me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guacamole is really good. Chicken enchiladas or manicotti?
Oh, manicotti.
Cheese
Nice.
quesadilla or margarita pizza?
Oh gosh. They're both so simple but so good. I might have to go the quesadilla.
Wow.
Dipped in the
Oh,
guacamole with guacamole on top.
okay. Nachos or arancini?
You guys are gonna kill me. I don't know. We've been eating a lot of nachos lately.
Nachos are good though. I gotta say, I like nachos better than arancini personally.
But we've been eating a lot of nachos. We just had them at the Dodger game, Mario and and I don't know. There's a restaurant right down the street from us, and they have these nachos, and they're just so good. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is not an easy one for sure. Salsa or sauce?
Sauce, 100,
Okay.
110%.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Churros or zeppoli?
Zeppoli.
There you go. I like
Nice.
that
And
answer.
yeah, and I'm guessing on San Giuseppe Day, you guys have them as well, because that's a staple. You get zeppoli on San Giuseppe Day.
100%. Yeah, I'm not a big I always say choro. He's like it's because I say it wrong because the other way is poo poo.
Is what? How do you say it?
Wait, choro is poo poo. So choro.
Oro.
That's not. I don't really. They're like donuts. I don't like. I don't know. They just don't do anything for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
get
they're not, yeah.
you. That's hilarious. So you don't want to order that wrong.
Yeah. He's like, no, you don't have the runs.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh. All right, last one. Tequila or vino?
Unfortunately, vino gives me a headache.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people do, yeah. Gives a lot of people headaches.
It's something. It's just I get older. I don't. I just can't do it anymore. So I'm gonna have to go tequila.
Nice.
Wow. So it looks like I think the Mexican side took
Yeah,
it won.
yeah,
It really did. And like I said, they're really similar.
Yeah.
A lot of the beliefs are the same.
Yeah.
I eat tons of spicy food now. I never used to be that brave. And now I'm like, bring it on. Like I like so.
Calabrese too, though, eat a lot of spicy stuff with the pepper and everything. So
I
Yeah.
can't.
it's
I
in
can't
our
though. I
blood.
can't. I
I'm
can't
not a big
handle it,
fan,
Yeah.
but it's
unfortunately.
good.
No, I like it, but it hurts my stomach really bad. Like I just can't handle
Well,
it anymore.
you have problems. You're lactose.
You know what? I'm probably not lactose, but I think I'm lactose. But who knows? Some days I'll eat a lot of cheese, nothing happens. Some days I eat cheese and I'm dying. I don't know. I'm a
Depends on the
mess.
day.
I
Adam,
Then
don't
you
you
got
drink
a
a.
have
lot of problems.
I
then
No.
don't
you
even
have
drink
choro.
espresso. I have choro. Poo poo. I don't drink espresso either. I don't drink wine. What kind of an Italian am I? I don't know.
Yeah.
Courtney, are there any differences though? I'm just curious. Like, I feel like you're saying it's the same for the most part. So the food and the spiciness, are there any differences? You guys ever say like any clashes at all, or it's all the same?
No, I mean, pretty much at the end of the day, it's all the same,
Mhm.
same family beliefs, and you don't speak against the family. You don't, we teach our kids, I don't care if you're fighting, you always have each other's back at school,
Yep.
Yeah.
no matter what's going on.
Mhm.
Um, it's all pretty much the same at the end of the day. Besides, they use cilantro and little differences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ingredients and stuff. 100%.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for doing this today. We had a blast. A really
Yeah.
fun time. Thank you for talking about
Thank you
your
guys.
journey and just be embracing your Italian culture. We really appreciate it. And we're obviously gonna stay in touch with you. And thank you for wearing the merch. Thank you for supporting Mike's page and
Yeah,
Yeah.
being a hardcore Italian. So thank you so much for all your support for the
forever.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maloikia, not for you. Not for you. Not.
For anybody watching us, give us Malocchio. There you go.
Yeah, no negative comments, people, because we'll be doing this.
Yeah,
You
there
know,
you go.
Corey, you know what we should do one day? Since we're doing like this fun back and forth about Mexican versus Italian, we should do a thing with you and your husband one day where it's like, because you say he loves Italian culture too. We should do a
Yeah,
thing where it's got a fun back and forth, like a this or that. Or we should do something like that. We should stay in touch because I know he follows the page too, right?
he follows the page too. He
Yeah.
loves the Italian culture just as much
Yeah.
as his own. I
Yeah.
mean, he's the one, all of our kids have Italian names, Gia, Dominic, Santino, and he's the one who initiated that.
Did
Yeah.
He
he?
wanted the kids to
Really?
have Italian names. He just loves the culture. So that would
That's
be fun.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like because it's usually the girl, like my fiance's got a thing in her notes and it's all Italian names, like a list. I'm just kind of like, name them whatever you want. I know it's going to be Italian. So it's
Yeah.
funny that Mario was like pushing it. That's cool. I like
That's
that.
good to know. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, we'll definitely stay in touch, Courtney. We're really, really happy we got to meet you today. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
so
you
much. It was
guys
really
so much.
fun.
It was wonderful meeting you.